Okay, well, it's Sunday here. We are still on lockdown, and I'm John Hazzard, and this is All About Food. I want to cook a real kind of a Sunday lunch today. I had bought some ribs, some pork ribs on Friday. So I want to show you how I do my ribs really. I don't have all the ingredients for it, but I think what we have would be good enough. So what I normally do is looking for my small knife. Oh, here it is. And normally on this here we have a bit of a sinew here which we have to take off, because we want to put some spices on it. And I have a whole set of spices here as well too. I have like paprika, cayenne pepper, black pepper, some, I believe that this one here is onion powder, some cumin powder, some 5-spice powder. I also have some brown sugar as well. And of course we need some salt. And we're gonna mix the spices up to coat the ribs itself. But what I also want to do, I normally use Worcestershire sauce, but I don't have any Worcestershire sauce. So I'm gonna mix a bit of Worcestershire sauce with a bit of honey, so I could pass the ribs through it for flavor, and also it allows the spices as well to adhere to the actual ribs. So on this piece of sinew, we wanted to kind of take this off. So I just kind of lift that with my knife. So you saw I lifted right here. And then I'm going to just take a piece of paper towel, or you can use a cloth, and you're going to pull this piece of sinew all the way off. And just pull this all the way back. See how it pulls all the way back? If you don't pull this off, it will prevent your spices from penetrating your meat, which is what you're seeing right here. So I just kind of pull that sinew off. This you would dispose of. So we're going to just take off this and just clean this up a little bit right here. Dispose of this. So my ribs now are all kind of ready, and I'm now going to make this mixture here. I just wash my hands. So you'll take like equal portions of soy sauce. Well, in this case it's soy sauce, but normally I use Worcestershire sauce. I can mix it right in here. So that should be enough. Let's say a cup of Worcestershire sauce to about a cup of honey. In my case, I'm just using like a half a cup. And I use a half a cup of honey as well in here. And I'm now going to mix these up together. Just going to mix this up. Mix it well. And then we're going to pour this into this. I have like a roasting pan here. You can use any kind of pan that you have. And I'm going to take the pan, so you can see I have the liquid in the pan. And all I have that pan for really is so I can really basically coat my ribs. You can take some and bathe this side. So you want to get it all on this. So just kind of bathe my ribs in this mixture. And this is something we would normally do this the night before. But I was a bit lazy last night. So I'm here preparing lunch now, for Sunday lunch actually. So the ribs are nicely coated. Let's now put together a spice mix. So now let's make our spice mixture to put on our baby back ribs. So I'm going to take at least about a quarter cup of, or half a cup I would say, of paprika. Half a cup of paprika. I just want to use at least about a tablespoon. I'll say a teaspoon I'm going to use of cayenne pepper, teaspoon of cayenne. And then I'm going to use a teaspoon of ground black pepper. Then I will take at least about, I would say of this, say a quarter teaspoon of onion powder, quarter teaspoon of that. And I want to go with at least a quarter cup of cumin powder. So 1/4 cup of cumin. And then I'm going to, let's get this back on. Let's take at least about a tablespoon. I love 5-spice powder. So let's do a tablespoon of 5-spice powder. In there. And then I'm going to do a tablespoon of brown sugar. Tablespoon of that. And a tablespoon of salt. We've got to get our salt and go to season it well. And then we just take a spoon and we're going to mix this all together. Mix it all together nicely. So you can see we have our spice rub right here. So I'm now going to take my rib, or my pork actually, and I'm going to season this up nicely with my rub. Let me just move this so you can see. And we just season the entire thing up really well. Make sure it's well coated. And this is something you do the night before, and then what I will do is I will wrap this in plastic wrap so it really adheres to it and put it in the fridge overnight. So if I'm doing like 5 or 6 of these, I will wrap each one individually in plastic wrap, put them in the fridge so the spices adhere nicely, and allow it to sit overnight. And I normally would smoke this. I have a smoker as well, which we're not using today, but I would normally smoke this, which is absolutely delicious. But today I'm going to go outside on the patio and we're going to pop this on the grill. And I'm just kind of showing you a quick way to do stuff without having to have all sorts of big equipment. So that's really our ribs. So that's ready to get on the grill. And I'm anxious to get us on the grill, and then I'll show you the next step after that when it comes off the grill, so we can get this in the oven so we can get to eating. So I'm going to go ahead now and pop these ribs on the grill. So go ahead and pop this on. And I'm going to grill both sides. And I'm going to grill it until it's nice and golden brown. And as I said before, I'm going to go ahead now while this is grilling, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the foil paper along with some honey butter and some brown sugar to sprinkle on it. Wrap it really well in foil, put it onto a pan, this kind of pan here, and I will pop this into the oven at a temperature of like 250 degrees Fahrenheit, but I'll also put a little water in my pan as well to have a little water bath to create some steam as well, and allow this to cook out in the oven. So we're just now kind of grilling this. So we'll just have to give this a little time, and while this is grilling, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my foil as well as melt some butter to make my honey butter as well. Okay, so I'm going to make the honey butter. Very simple, really. It's just honey and butter. I'm going to take it's only 1 rack of rib I have, so I don't really want a lot of anything really, so we don't have any wastage. So I kind of will melt my butter in the microwave. Let's just cut another piece of butter. I think that should be good. Good. So I'll go ahead and put this here into the microwave. Just go ahead and wrap it. We're going to stick this in the microwave just to melt it. If you don't have a microwave, you can always use a saucepan on a stove at a very low temperature and melt your butter. So to this now, I have the honey. I'm going to add some honey into my bowl. I'd say I'm adding like a 1/2 cup of honey to about a 1/2 cup of butter as well. I think that should be enough honey. And I'm going to allow this to melt. Once it's melted, I'm going to add it to the honey and whisk it together. This is what I will use now to pour in the ribs. While that's happening, and while that's melted, I get my foil paper. Let's just check our butter. Oh, wow. Okay, so our butter is already melted. So I'll show you this step. So it's melted, so you just take the plaster wrap off. Be careful, you don't want to get the steam. You don't want to get burned by the steam. Just pour that all in there. I'm gonna get rid of this plastic wrap. Get rid of that. Put it on the sink. And we whisk this all together. Now that's our honey butter to put onto our ribs. So that's completed. What we'll do next is we'll pull the foil paper out so you can see. And what I do is I double the foil because sometimes when you put the ribs, the bones kind of puncture the foil paper. So that doesn't happen, I tend to double the foil paper. And that's our honey butter right there. So I'm going to put this right here. And all I'm waiting for right now, and this brown sugar as well is for our ribs. So all I'm waiting for right now is for the ribs to finish on the stove. And I'll give you a look at that as soon as that's finished as well. Okay, our ribs are looking super fantastic. Have a look at that. So, nicely grilled. And I think many persons will have a grill at home as well too. So it's all nicely grilled, so I'm gonna pop this here onto this pan. And I'll take this in so we can do our, I'm gonna put the honey butter on it and then wrap in the foil paper. Pop in the oven with a little water bath and get our ribs cooking. So I am hungry and this looks delicious. But it's not quite finished yet because it's still kind of raw, so we have to finish it. So let's move on to our next step. I'm gonna run inside and pop this in the foil paper. Okay, have the ribs off the oven, which looks so delicious. So we're gonna go ahead and now wrap this in our foil paper. So what I do is I would take this wrap of ribs. Yes, look, it's beautiful. So I take this and place this right here on my foil, gently. Don't want to tear the foil. Take our honey butter and get like a little ladle to spoon it on, or a spoon. Whatever you have in your cupboard is fine. And we're just going to spoon this on over the ribs. It's so delicious. So spoon this on. That looks delicious. Just gonna use all that on it. Waste not, want not, they say. So that's beautiful. And then we're gonna take a bit of the brown sugar and we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of this sugar on top of the ribs. So this all cooks inside the ribs and gives a good sweet flavor. That's good. And then we're gonna wrap this up now. We're wrapping for our ribs. And then we're going to pop this on this one. And I'm going to wrap this again. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to pop this on this pan. And then we'll take a bit of water from the faucet. And we're going to put some water here to create a water bath so we have some steam, which also helps to cook the ribs as well. Okay, so that is the amount of water I've placed. And then I'm going to pop this in the oven at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. And I would say within an hour I will check it. I'm going to increase the temperature to like 325. And I would say within about 2 hours our ribs should be nice and tender. So once these are finished, I will open up the package so you can see it and hopefully you can taste it as well with me. Okay, I think I'm going to check our ribs and see whether our ribs are finished. And so we can go ahead and cut those up and so you can see what they look like. and I'm also getting hungry as well too, so I'm eager to eat the ribs along with everything else I cooked today for lunch. So let me just check the ribs out. Grab my mittens. Okay, here's my ribs. Let's just check these ribs out. So I'm going to open up this. Okay, so they're kind of nicely, if you can see that there, it looks delicious, doesn't it? So let's try this. So what I'm going to do, I just want to see whether, I'm going to take a bone and pull along the bone and see whether it pulls apart easily. Yeah, it's pulling fine. So let's just rest this on my cutting board. So I'm going to hold it towards one end here. Take my knife. Just rest this right here. I have it placed on this side. Let's get some sauce as well too. I have a little bit of barbecue sauce, and I just want to get myself a spoon of sauce on. So we're going to go ahead and cut this. So I have it on this side so I can actually see through the bone. So this is the actual rib right here. So I'm going to cut these right the way through. All the way through. Just cut it through nicely. Now let's just go ahead and sample. I have a piece at the end. I just want to sample this piece so we can taste it. Very good. Very soft, flavorful. So that's I want to go about putting the sauce on now. Okay, I'm gonna put a little barbecue sauce down here at the bottom. A little homemade barbecue sauce I made. Put a little sauce down. Then I'm going to take the ribs now. Kind of arrange these ribs on top here. Look delicious. Oh, it's going to be a good lunch. Oh, they're so beautiful. So this is something that you can do at home. And if you don't have a grill, you can always use like a little grill pan on your stove. But you can kind of try this kind of technique right here. And that's delicious. This one I'm going to save to continue to eat. That's delicious. So this is how you would do the barbecue spare ribs, baby back ribs. So I'm going to go ahead and take this over to my table along with my other stuff, and I'm going to come back to you so you can see my full meal, my full Sunday lunch. Okay, so dinner is ready. It was supposed to be lunch, but it's actually now dinner because it's after 5:30 and it's a Sunday evening. It's lockdown, so can't go anywhere. But I have my ribs made, and I went ahead and cooked a bit of pigeon peas and rice. I have some coleslaw, some plantains, I have some roasted butternut squash, and some roasted carrots. But since your focus really is on the ribs, let's try the ribs out. And I have the ribs with a little bit of a barbecue sauce I kind of concocted inside the kitchen. This is very tasty. This is very, very good. And that's how you want it. You want that, not to be falling apart off the bone. You want it to be falling off the bone, but you still want it to be on the bone. So it's really nice and tender. But this is good. That's really good. So I'm going to go ahead and enjoy this meal on this beautiful Sunday evening. I have a glass of red wine here, and I wish you all the best. Cheers. And again, I'm John Hazzard, and for me it's all about food.